Don't forget to check out and grab your copy of our 2 newly released books, Football, a Love Story, and What Did Football Teach Me? These books feature over 100 stories from current and former coaches, players, executives, and entertainers from across the football landscape, describing what got them involved in the game, what they love about it, and what life lessons the game taught them. You can find your copy or order your copy from our website at footballgameplan.com/books. And welcome to another edition of 4 Downs with the Czar. I'm Emery Hunt, the Czar of the Playbook, here with Teron Davenport, our college football and draft analyst, and we're both at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where Temple just took one on the chin to Notre Dame, 24-20, in an outstanding clash between 2 top 25 teams. Now, starting with first down, we're looking at Temple's offense. I look at P.J. Walker, very impressed with his leadership and his ability to make plays on the fly. I thought he did a great job. That offensive line with Kyle Friend, a really good pro prospect. They leaned on Notre Dame's defensive front, and they really tried to shrink this ball game in the second half. So what were your takeaways from Temple's offense in this matchup?
Well, one thing that you said, well, 2 things you said before the game. You said that their guys outside could end up costing them this game. And I tell you what, that's what happened. This end zone we're standing in, the score 24-20, a 4-point difference, 2 drops right here in this end zone. And P.J. Walker, another point that you made during the game, just with him being able to, at the end of the game, just wanting to will this team to win. You saw, as you mentioned, he started running a lot more. He made a couple throws that were just outstanding. You know, that last throw was an interception, but I tell you what, that was a good throw. You know, number 7 was coming open, but what can you say? Russell made an excellent play, and that's why he's considered to be one of the better corners in the college football today.
Well, you look at, again, great plays sometimes get nullified by greater plays, and that was a greater play right there by Kavare Russell. So looking at second down, Notre Dame's offense, you know, quite honestly, Deshaun Kaiser, I thought, played a well of a game, and they had problems against his defensive Temple, and it looked as if Temple's defense maybe had a little bit more athletes than Notre Dame's offense, but their offense came through in the clutch. They were able to move the football on that last drive to go up 24-20, but I thought Deshaun Kaiser played a really good game. What were your takeaways?
I'm going to bounce that right off you as well. Kaiser, right here in this end zone. We're still in a good spot.
Right, it's a good spot right here.
He ran right here, and I tell you, when he was running that 79-yard touchdown, I looked at you and I said, I thought he was going to get tackled at the 30-yard line. But I don't know if this guy runs track or what, but his form was perfect. He had the long speed. He didn't lose any speed throughout that whole run. So Kaiser definitely was very impressive. As you mentioned in the box, they abandoned the run a little bit, and they started to take advantage of not Will Fuller, but Chris Brown and the other receiver, number 3. They were able to hit those guys on screens, number 16, Torrey Hunter as well. So I think they played a good game. You're 100% right. In the trenches, Temple's impressive. This is my first time seeing them live, and I was really impressed with them. So, yeah, it was a tough game for them, though. At the end of the day, someone had to take the L, and unfortunately, it was Temple.
And when you look at Notre Dame getting Alize Jones involved, the tight end, and we were calling that in the box all game long. Like, the tight end play is there for them to take it if they want to, but it came up big later on in the game on that end of the field. Alize Jones, big-time reception, was wide open, but he was open all game, or any tight end was open all game. But third down, we're looking at Temple's defense, and this, my friend, was the star of the entire evening. They played great football at every level. The linebackers were active, defensive line gave Notre Dame problems. They couldn't really run the football, like you said. They took the running game away, and in the secondary, Tavon Young locked down Will Fuller the entire game, and really all the other corners made it tough for Notre Dame to complete passes on a consistent basis. And they also came away with 2 interceptions. Defensive lineman came away with a pick, and also a linebacker. So what did you see from from Temple's defense in this game?
You mentioned Tavon Young. I think this was a coming out game for this guy. We're up in the box, and you see the tweets start popping up. And hey, look, I'll admit I'm late to the party as well, but I tell you, I like little, not little, but smaller, feisty corners like him. Those are the guys that typically are the sure tacklers. And, I mean, what can you say about what he did with Will Fuller? Obviously, in the end, there was a touchdown, but, folks, that wasn't his fault. If you go back and look at the play, you'll see that the safety was late. And, you want your help to be there, but the help wasn't there. That wasn't his fault. He played an excellent game. Ioannidis, I always struggle with his
Ioannidis. Matt Ioannidis. Get to know the name, folks. This guy is a tremendous defensive lineman.
A couple weeks ago, I saw you tweeting about him, and he was really impressive. One play specifically that really stood out to me right over here. It was 3rd and 3, I believe it was. Swim move, and he made the tackle, and that ended up, you know, making Notre Dame have to kick the field goal. So I was impressed with a lot of these prospects. The linebacker, Matakevich was really impressive. This is a good team, a really good team, and I tell you, number 35 as well. You know, another guy, Nate D. Smith. You mentioned his name, and he's a smaller guy, but man, that one play that he made right over here to tackle the running back on the screen.
Right.
This game could have been a lot different. Could have been over earlier if they didn't make that tackle right there.
And you saw the benefit of having 4th and 5th year seniors in the trenches, both offensive line and defensive line. Now let's move over to Notre Dame's defense, which is 4th down. I thought the Irish, they have more athletes defensively than they do on offense. I mean, let's be honest. Sheldon Day, Jalen Smith, your guy, you've been on him since the summer, and he came out and played a well of a game. So those two guys, in my opinion, I took away the most. Like, you know what? Notre Dame's defensive athleticism far outweighs what they have on offense. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, man, Jalen Smith, what can you say? That one drive, you know, where he tackled the quarterback running this way, tackled P.J. Walker, and then he tracked down the running back. I mean, he took on the offensive lineman and made the tackle. He's legit.
Right.
He's legit. You know, some people, when you have a player that's good like him, a lot of times, you know, people want to nitpick and try to pick this and pick that. He will be a star in the NFL. I guarantee you that. Also, Sheldon Day. I learned about him today. I'll definitely tell you that. You know, he played both sides of the line. He bumped inside. He set that edge. He's an outstanding guy, athlete. As you mentioned, you pointed out, he dropped back in coverage at times. That's going to make him a guy that's going to be able to play on Sundays as well. But another guy that I said I was going to watch was Russell, the corner.
Right.
And I tell you, he has that mentality that you want from a corner. Tough day. You know, he gave up 3 catches of over 20 yards, but at the end of the day,
who made the play?
He baited P.J. Walker, undercut that throw, made the interception. And that's why the score is what you saw, 24-20, because he sealed the deal for them.
And big players usually step up in crucial moments of the game, which ties us into our player of the game segment here. You look at player of the game for Temple, an offensive player of the game. I'm going to go with P.J. Walker. I thought the quarterback showed tremendous leadership, accuracy, toughness, mental toughness. He wanted to win. If anybody on this football field wanted to win, it was P.J. Walker, and I was very impressed with his game. What about you? Who's your offensive player of the game for Temple?
You know, I'm going to have to go with P.J. Walker also. You know, they say great minds think alike.
True.
You know, things are flowing where you know, pointing out similar things. I have to go with him. And, I mean, you look at the stat book, you know, the box score analysts, they're going to look at this and say he didn't have a good game. They're going to see that interception at the end. I think P.J. Walker's the player of the game. He made some really good throws. That one throw in the opposite end zone over there where he hit the tight end, I believe it was. He hit him. It was, I don't remember exactly who it was, but nevertheless, he squeezed the ball in there. It was a fastball.
Right, it was a tight end. It was number 80. It was a tight end.
So he had to put something on that ball to get it in there, but he got it in there. The young man scored the touchdown. Hey, P.J. Walker is a solid quarterback. It's so unfortunate, you know, when we were leaving the box, we talked about it. It's so unfortunate that this guy is 6'1". He's going to get overlooked because of his size. And it's just like one of our guys, Gene Clemens, said, you know, if you're an athletic quarterback, you almost don't want to show that athleticism because you know what they'll do.
They'll move you to receiver.
Move you to receiver. And I think he's an outstanding quarterback. It's very unfortunate that, you know, he's probably going to get overlooked. But he's really good. Well, the Josh Johnson comparison.
Right. Really I was about to say.
Go ahead,
Josh Johnson, no, but that, you know, he's a lot like Josh Johnson, who played with Tampa, played with Cincinnati, now with the Buffalo Bills. But when you look at P.J. Walker, again, he's a junior, so hopefully the scouts will get a chance to get some sense knocked into him by understanding this guy can play quarterback in the NFL, and he'll be a tremendous player. He has that leadership. He has that it factor that most people want. Now, for Notre Dame, I look at their quarterback as well as the offensive player of the game, DeShone Kizer. I didn't know he was 6'4", 230.
Yeah.
And he's a big boy. He did a great job running the football when he had to. And when he had to make plays in the passing game, they made those plays, ultimately leading them to a touchdown. He made a game-winning throw. DeShone Kizer gets my offensive player of the game for Notre Dame.
Yeah, I want to say Kizer. I mean, you look at what Will Fuller did at the end. That, you know, just like Russell, he was getting shut down most of the night. And at the end of the day, he stepped up. I would have to say Kizer as well. That 79-yard touchdown run, that in itself was enough to make him the player of this game.
All right. Now you look at the defensive side of football. Defensive player of the game for Temple, for me, Tavon Young. You have a tough task of stopping one of the premier receivers coming into this game, Will Fuller. A lot of guys talked about Will Fuller, and you didn't hear Will Fuller's name until the last part of the game.
Which I was listening for it.
Right. I was looking for it. I highlighted him. You saw my notes.
Yeah.
But Tavon Young, 5'10", 185 pounds, played off coverage well, played press coverage well. He read concepts perfectly. He played a great game from a prospect standpoint, from a schematic standpoint. I thought he was the defensive player of the game for Temple. What about you?
Yeah, you definitely have to mention him. I can never pronounce his name, number 8, the linebacker.
Matakevich, Tyler Matakevich.
Matakevich. He's somebody that, you know, just so I'm not picking the same guy, I'm going to look at him. He had a bunch of tackles on this game. He showed me that he wants to make plays. You know, you talked about him last year and the improvement that he made. And this year, I saw it. He's playing aggressive football, and especially in the beginning of that game, he was always around the football. So that's what I like when I see an inside linebacker. You know, so I'm going to go with him as my player of the game.
Now you look at Notre Dame. I think the defensive player of the game for Notre Dame is probably, we're going to be, you know, consensus on this one. I like Jalen Smith. I mean, play after play after play, he made it, and that's exactly what you want to see from a linebacker. The run and chase skills, getting great run fits. You saw him making plays in the passing game. So from a complete linebacker standpoint, Jalen Smith was the defensive player of the game.
I don't think there's a more complete linebacker in college football right now.
I agree.
You can mention Ragland. You know, he's good. Definitely, he's good. Jalen Smith is outstanding. And as you mentioned, his ability to chase, how he's able to track down the ball carrier, he showed it today. That was so impressive. I know you had the long catch on the crosser, and that's going to happen, folks. I mean, when you have a linebacker trying to cover a receiver, you know, picking him up, he's going to run by him. But you know what ended up happening? He tracked him down and tackled him. So, yeah, I have to go with Jalen Smith. But I definitely, going back to Russell, you know, the way he turned around, but you have to mention Sheldon Day as well.
Right.
I mean, this team is, Notre Dame has some athletes.
On defense.
You know, on defense, yeah, we got to be specific.
On defense.
They have athletes on defense. We didn't even mention Max Redfield, who is a safety that I really liked when he was coming out of high school in California. And, you know, he's coming into his own with Todd Light as his DB coach. So he's another player, not player of the game, but he's somebody that I definitely am going to watch the rest of this year. And I like him as well. Notre Dame is stacked on defense, for
They're
sure.
a really good team. And you look at the play of the game, I think this probably will be an easy one. For me, the play of the game was the interception by Kavaria Russell, because that essentially was about to be a touchdown. I mean, the receiver was clearing. I mean, he probably would have dropped it, as most receivers would have dropped the football.
Tough day for receivers.
Tough day for receivers, but that play was breaking open. It was a crucial play. Walker saw it late, but saw it, got baited in, and that was a great play. What would you say would be the play of the game for you?
That's definitely one, but I think that the tight end, number 10, you know, finally they took advantage of something that was there all game. That middle of the field was wide open. The tight end, they could have went to him anytime they wanted to. Crucial situation. He comes through, makes the catch, sets up the Will Fuller touchdown. Another play that could have been play of the game. I tell you, my play of the game, if Temple would have won, would have been that, not by any player, the timeout that Coach Rule called.
You got to mention that. You got to mention that.
Listen, you mentioned the guys, you know, 4th and 5th year seniors and things like that. And yeah, they're experienced players, but not experienced players in this type of setting.
Right.
The most people ever attended a Temple game today. 69,000. These guys aren't used to playing in front of that. So here it is, Notre Dame, early in the game, in the second quarter. They're driving. They have the ball inside the 10-yard line.
The blue zone, we like to call that, inside the 10.
Blue zone. They had the ball there. What does coach do? Calls the timeout. And I pointed it out to you. He went onto the field, gathered his guys, and you could tell he was telling them to just relax. Just relax. Soon after, interception. That's a key thing to be able to generate as a coach. This coach is outstanding.
Because it's so easy for Temple to get down to Notre Dame and take that defeatist mentality. Like, you know what? This Notre Dame, we're supposed to be down. That was a huge play in the game. And after that, they went down, moved the ball a little bit, but then came back, made another play inside the 10-yard line, inside the blue zone. So Coach Matt Rule has done a great job.
Great job.
And, you know, you mentioned your player of the game, Alize Jones, the tight end. We also want to give him credit, too. Again, that was a big play for Notre Dame. So a lot we saw here, a lot we're going to put in our scouting notes and things of that nature. So for Teron, I'm Emery. Hunt the Czar of the Playbook. That's Teron Davenport. And for more 4 Down with the Czar videos, visit our website at footballgameplan.com/4downs with the Czar. And for all of our scouting notes that we have from this game and all of the games that we attend during college football Saturday and Friday and Thursday nowadays with some of these games all over the country that we go to, visit our website at footballgameplan.com/Hunt Scouting Notes.